anybody who's receiving by rail. We're not at our facilities. I'm not sure if anyone is. I'm not aware of it.
Yes. See, the volumes
You are
involved
the one
low volume. That Rouge facility receives some waste solvents by rail, but as far as I know, that's the only facility.
I assume that you'll be working with state, you all might later on down the line decide you might want to explore that, you'll be working with state agencies to receive those permits and so forth.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. Now, in the event of an emergency out there on your site, I assume that you're going to have assuming it's coming here, you're going to have a well-trained response team out there. On May 7th of this year, we had a spill down on 85. We had it in our watershed. We had 200 gallons of diesel fuel oil. We had 619 pounds of acetone spilling the Ledge Creek. We have two of the finest emergency management people here in Granville County. We have Mr. Mitchell Bird, who's employed by the county. We have Mr. John Norris, who's employed by the city of Oxford. It took 4.5 hours to have state people come up and investigate that spill. Monday, here in Oxford, we had a fuel tank rupture. The state was contacted, the environmental management was contacted on Monday. Wednesday afternoon, they came in to inspect the site. That's a 2-day delay, gentlemen. Are you all going to wait for the state to kick into gear before you take what we call responsible action to abate any emergency that you've got out there on that site?
We use the approach that we use in Rock Hill because it's the only one we can use. We make our teams available to county and city response teams.
At no cost?
That's correct. We respond to York County in South Carolina when they ask. We've done it several times. None but hauling hazardous waste, others situations like this.
Are you going to wait for the go-ahead to come from Raleigh? Are you going to wait for the go-ahead to come from Granville County from Mr. Norris and Mr. Bird back there?
We'd respond to the local officials, which is the agreement we have with local officials. That's the way we've done it in Rock Hill. It's worked real well. So when they call us, we respond because we have teams, we have equipment, we have the know-how.
I asked a similar question back a few weeks ago, and that was, what about Durham and Wake County? What if they get the spill? Are you going to respond to that?
We've helped South Carolina. For example, South Carolina officials have asked us to go outside that. We've been more than willing to do that and provide the services and expertise that we have. So that, for example, if something happened in Wake County and they asked, would be yes, would we want to help them?
What's the status of the air quality permit application and Part B permit?
Status of the Part B application is as follows. We submitted some preliminary information to the state yesterday. We're making copies of that same information that will be sent. That's at the printer right now. Those will be sent around to the counties, FDRCs, other libraries. It will be everywhere.
We don't see the question. I just got in like yesterday afternoon. We got a copy too.
Well, I'll get copies too. Right. We're having two sets made up. We're having a set that's a 3-ring binder that the state likes. Okay, and then we're having a set that's not in the 3-ring binder. The ones that are not in the 3-ring binders are the ones that we're going to send out to SDRCs in the county. Those are the ones that are now at the print. We had 2 days of meetings with all of the permitting agencies at the beginning part of May. I met with Bill Hamner, the record guy, this morning before I came up here to talk about some issues. We've announced record hearings at 2 locations, this location in Iredell County. We have met with the air programs people and we supplied them some preliminary information. We'll have a modeling plan that we can submit to them next week. That modeling plan will go through all the divisions of monitor siting with respect to ambient air quality monitors and impact assessment with respect to stack emissions and all the other types of fugitive emissions that may result from operation of the facility.
Does that include any health component?
Of course. It includes a risk assessment, and in addition to that, the state of North Carolina has recently published in their air programs a fairly detailed list of air toxic constituents that should be considered by any new facility. There's a second list that kicks in sometime in 1990 that we'll also look at. So the the state has already supplied in their rules what they consider to be allowable or acceptable ambient levels for a variety of their toxins. I think there's somewhere about 102 of them. The same level of discussions have been taking place with the water quality group. So all the permit groups I talk to on a regular basis, and they're one step behind the SDRCs in that they have seen nothing on the proposal yet, and they will now with this first submittal. I want to reiterate that although it'll be in a different form, bound versus 3-ring, every attempt will be made to, as quickly as possible, put in your hands the same information that has been submitted to the state regulatory agencies. With respect to RECRA, there's a series of items that have to take place between now and October 15th. We propose to have a formal RECRA submittal on October 15th, 1990. And between now and October 15th, 1990, several things have to take place. Probably the most substantial from our point of view is that we have to complete the detailed engineering drawings and equipment specifications and model numbers and piping diagrams and all the other types of specification of instrumentation and monitors that have been discussed this morning or this afternoon. Secondly, 2 public meetings have to take place in each of the communities that could potentially be affected by the facility. In Granville County, we have scheduled one to take place on July 9th, and that public notice was sent out the other day. We will transcribe that meeting and make it available through the same list that we have distributed the application material to. And 30 days after distribution of that transcript, a second meeting will take place. Pursuant to state law, until those 2 public meetings take place, we cannot submit a complete application under the state record program.
I'd like to ask a question on that. What authority do you have to set up such a meeting here? Did you go through our county officials, or did you make sure that that was a good date for that
No.
meeting to take place here?
The authority is, we really have no authority, we have an obligation. We have an obligation to have a public meeting. Now, with respect to exactly how we approach that, we sent individual letters to each of the 60 county commissioners in all counties, Granville and all surrounding counties. Individual letters, we followed that up with certified letters to the clerk of the county commission. We put notices in the newspaper, and we also put notices on the radio.
How did you choose the night?
That's my question. I mean,
That's
and by the way,
it.
I would think common courtesy would at least expect you to ask and not just tell us.
Well, we got involved because we needed to meet the timelines, and we made some phone calls to find out if the facility was available. We asked for some recommendations from the county manager, I believe. We were directed to school board, discussed with the school board several dates, I believe at least 5, and settled on July 9th. That's how we did it. We didn't call everyone. That's correct.
I thought the site committee was supposed to have some function in this. So this just simply goes right around the process.
Which is what we fully anticipate happening in a lot of instances, and that causes us some significant concern.
That concerns me too. I am sorry that happened. This should not happen.
Is there a specific problem with the date? We'll address it.
I don't know, we haven't
We
been
weren't even
asked to
asked.
consult about it. We don't know if there's uncivil.
Well, let me offer, if there is, we'll work with you.
I have a problem just out of the way it was done.
Well, in that case, I would apologize.
I had a struggle with the logic, because I wondered why you were having that hearing without knowing first that we were at the site. It seemed like a waste of time to go through a number of these things, which I'm not sure you're.
Well, that I think that we can answer that, but not. I thought you all were aware and had some input in choosing that date.
No.
No, we did
Then,
not.
then,
Some of us may be out of town.
then we will, we'll check on that.
As I said, that's my mistake. I'll take the blame for that, and I apologize, and I'll work with you, okay?
May I please ask one question?
Certainly.
May I? Out of the personnel that you plan to employ, you stated earlier that there would be 100 possibly high position or high paid people. Is that true?
100 professionals.
100 professionals.
Right.
May I please ask you if those people plan to live in Granville County?
That is the practice. Again, I can only refer to Rock Hill. About 80% of our people, all employees, live and work within Rock Hill. Bill, you live 4 miles from the facility. Our plant manager lives 2 miles from the facility. Our general manager lives 2 miles from the facility. That's our intention.
May I ask you, what is your position then? Are you not considered a professional?
I am. Yes, I am. But my work has been more corporate.
Why do you not live near
Because
them?
my work has been more corporate and involves Rock Hill as well as everything else we've done in the marketplace.
I'll tell you.
And I'm willing to talk to you.
And may I ask you, please, in the detailed information that I've heard today, is there anything in this information that will say, you've told us about the plant and how you're going to operate everything and how everything is going to be run so beautifully. I would really like to know if there's anything in this information that says anything about what you plan to do to protect us, the public, the people of Granville County, and we are the county and we are part of the state. I would just like to know that.
To protect you, yes, there's quite a bit of information that you'll be seeing when Mark receives the information that we send him later this week or next week. There are several sections within even the preliminary document that develop a skeleton, and in some cases even begins to fill in that skeleton, that discuss items such as contingency plans, which is interaction with the communities on what procedures will take place and how different levels of alarm or alert will take place. There's provisions in there that discuss insurance and how insurance claims will be handled. I'm not saying that we anticipate insurance claims. What I'm saying is that given that insurance claims are provided to us, there's provisions in there that are discussed that you'll see either this week or next that says here's how we'll handle insurance claims. There are step-by-step procedures on both what our in-plant people and our off-plant people do. And some of the things I'll say are over and beyond what is required, and a great many of the things are over and beyond what is required, but most of the content of the plan is specified as a necessary piece of information. And there are federal standards that say, at a minimum, you must do this, and at a minimum, you must do that.
Yes.
We have also asked Judy, I don't know whether it will go through or not, but we have asked that the legislature appropriate money to assign monitors to the facility, state monitors to the facility, 24-hour a day, 7 day a week, however many days to be assigned to this. Whether that appropriation will go through or not, we don't know, but I think whatever site is selected should have that sort of thing.
Could I ask a follow-on question? Would the state also provide an equal number of Granville County monitors to go along with the state monitors?
Well, now, I don't know about that. These people would be a division of the bill, which has not been introduced but simply drawn up and suggested at this point, would be that people would be on duty to see that these folks that ThermalKEM comply, that they protect you on behalf of the state, to see that ThermalKEM complies with its water and air and incineration permit, whatever the permit is granted, or wherever the facility.
May I request that the commission include North Carolina, Granville County, specifically the Oxford area, to be monitored with equal,
Well, that's what it says, wherever it is. If it's gonna be in Granville County, it will.
well, that's right, if it is in Granville County, would this commission be kind enough to do that? To give us a fair chance to look at the monitoring data and the monitoring
But-
issues?
These monitors, Bill Myers Division, which is the Solid and Hazardous Waste Management Division of the department in the natural, economic,
Environment, health, and natural resources.
okay, environment, health, and natural resources anyway. It's a division of that. And whether that, to ask that 5 people be assigned to look after this on a continuing basis in order to show the state's commitment to protecting the citizens, wherever the place is safe.
They would in essence be your people, they would in essence be for this
That's
county.
what I'm
Oh, this
asking.
county.
Or wherever it
The
is.
citizens of Granville County.
Well, they would become citizens, because they'd start living.
Because they would have to.
Is that gonna be a requirement that they must live in Granville County?
Well, I don't know
I'd like to
about
make it
I
that
don't-
way.
I hate to tell people where they have to live. I got in trouble one time
It's-
doing that to some
At this
employees.
point, it's just a suggestion. Let me show you what it is, so you can see what it is. I don't know whether,
Well, we realize it's a suggestion, and we'd like
Yes,
to
no, I
have
appreciate
an
it.
honorable exchange of equal rights
that's right.
in this county.
And so it's just the second section there specifies what
See, the value of that is that your scientists and the resources of the state are great, but Granville County doesn't have those resources,
Well,
and that will
this
give you
is to
replication
put-
data. That'll
This
give you
is to
replication
put,
data.
the intent of this is to put it so that they will be here if this is.
But not North Carolina state employees, we want Granville County citizens. And if we have to go out and hire them, that's the kind of funding support we'd like to have, so we have equal scientific support.
Give us the money, let us.
That's right,
Yes,
that's what I'm
yes.
saying. In another way.
But the EPA
Sir,
requires,
Dr.
We'll
Kennedy?
take that, we'll
You
take
have no
that,
problem with
that's all you'll give us, we'll take
please,
that.
please ask your legislators
We
to
will.
support this.
Yes, ma'am, we will.
She said he had no problem.
We have suggested, and certainly I hope that we have, if I haven't said it, I'm sorry. and
Please
I
write
haven't
all
heard
your
it before.
legislators.
I'm sorry, I
to
should,
come.
I thought I had at every meeting, or certainly often, that we think, yes, that you should have monitoring people on this, at this facility.
Because.
And ThermalKEM has agreed with
We
this.
do agree.
And they have agreed with it 100%.
We
And
really
you will
don't care
have,
whether they agree or not.
well, if they're gonna pay, we need their agreement.
But we're gonna agree.
And-
No, they're not to pay for this.
But they-
Now, that's the point of this thing. Is the state of North Carolina, independent ThermalKEM does not appoint its own monitors.
We don't want to be
That's what they're
overwhelmed by their barrage of technology and science. We want an equal right to be able to speak up with our own technology and
This is for the
science.
state to monitor ThermalKEM.
We'll
That's
take it,
exactly the whole point.
We will take it,
we'll take it.
and thank you very much.
It has to